from Williston has been indicted after he's accused of killing his wife by setting her and their home on fire.
Now know the name of the person arrested after a body was found in a burning home. She said Lled tried to pour gasoline on the victim's daughter. Responders couldn't remove the body until an ambulance arrived. In a previous version of this story, incorrectly identified the homeowners.
They found that Lled poured gasoline on his wife and lit her on fire. Lled will stay in the Levy County Jail without bond.
She's having a hard time, but she's okay. She got a lot of support, you know. She got a lot of uncles. She got a grandma.
Officials believe this was a case of domestic violence.
"53-year-old Geneva Lled, affectionately known as Netta to family and friends, was an extraordinary woman, an amazing mother, daughter, sister, and friend. Although she was often described as quiet and somewhat reserved, those who knew her well understood that once she felt comfortable, her warmth and openness would shine through. Netta's thoughtful nature, compassion, and unwavering support were apparent in all aspects of her life, whether in her personal relationships or her professional endeavors. As a mental health technician at UF Health Cheyenne's Hospital, she dedicated herself to helping others, offering comfort and guidance to those navigating their own struggles. Her commitment to her work was a testament to her deep empathy and care for others. However, it was in her role as a mother that Netta's true heart was revealed. She was a constant source of love, guidance, and unwavering support for her daughter, always putting her needs above her own. Even as her daughter grew into adulthood, Netta continued to offer her the same nurturing care, creating a safe and loving environment. When Netta married 58-year-old Robert Lled in September 2015, she not only became his wife, but she also opened her home and her heart to him, and in turn, welcomed her daughter into their shared space. It was a time of hope and love, where Netta sought to build a life of happiness and stability for her family. Little did anyone know a series of events would soon unfold. What seemed like an ordinary day would soon spiral into a nightmare, leaving lasting scars on everyone involved. On the evening of July 25th, Williston police were called to a residence on Northeast 4th Avenue following reports of a house fire. When they arrived at the scene, they were met with chaos, confusion, and urgency as officers quickly assessed the situation and began to respond to the unfolding crisis.
Happened on Northeast 4th Avenue. Residents tell me they've had incidents in the past, but it's a people problem, not a neighborhood problem.
What happened yesterday evening really proved the togetherness, how everyone just came together and, you know.
Once the flames were extinguished, they would locate the burned body of 53-year-old Netta Lled, who was tragically identified by her mother-in-law. Netta's daughter was injured and rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, she was later released into the care of her family. Sadly, the happiness and affection that had once defined their relationship began to fade over time. What had started as a hopeful and loving union slowly eroded as Robert's temper and violent tendencies began to surface. The same love that once brought them together became overshadowed by years of conflict, leaving behind a relationship marred by fear and distress. According to an arrest report, Williston police officers discovered 58-year-old Robert Lled hiding behind a dog kennel, holding a machete, and appearing to be in a state of distress. A heated argument between Robert and Netta centered around a dispute over the air conditioning. Netta refused to turn the air condition down. What started as a disagreement quickly escalated when Robert poured gasoline on Netta, telling her, "If we are going out together. I told you I ain't leaving you." He then stood over her drenched body and lit a piece of paper, causing a violent explosion. He then attempted to do the same to his stepdaughter, who, witnessing the chaos, managed to escape the scene, narrowly avoiding further harm. A closer look into Robert Lled's past reveals a troubling history of criminal behavior and violent tendencies. In the 1980s, he was imprisoned for assaulting a child, an offense that marked the beginning of a pattern of violent actions. Throughout the 1990s, Lled's criminal record continued to grow, with an arrest for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. His pattern of abuse and disregard for the law persisted into the 2000s, when, in 2001, he was charged with domestic battery. However, he failed to appear in court for his trial, further demonstrating his disregard for authority and the safety of others. Local residents expressed their disbelief over the events, describing the family as quiet and private, never expecting something so tragic to occur. Johnny Jones, the pastor of Fountain of Life Church, shared his heartbreak, saying that the situation was especially painful because he had known the family for so long. He emphasized that while this was an incredibly difficult time for the community, it was also a moment when everyone needed to come together and offer support to those affected.
People who told me they were related to the victim identified her as Genevieve Hills. Officials confirm a heated argument between Lled and Genevieve led to him throwing a pot filled with gas at her. He then threw a lit piece of paper at her.
She was very blunt and she was very caring and she supported. It's very rare that she'll say no to you if you came to ask her for something. She was very supportive.
Family members also say they heard Lled try to pour gasoline on the victim's daughter as well, who they identify as Shakara Hills. James Bradshaw says she ran out before getting injured. He says Shakara has since had a lot of support from the family.
It's a process, it's for all of us, but that was her mom, her best friend, her everything. So it's just like her role is kind of gone.
Other family members say she is struggling mentally, but taking the recovery process one day at a time.
She's having a hard time, but she's okay. She got a lot of support, She got a lot of uncles. She got a grandma.
The grand jury from the 8th Judicial Circuit Court indicted 58-year-old Robert Lled on one count of first-degree murder and arson. He is currently being held without bond at the Levy County Jail.
We are learning more on the criminal background of the man arrested for homicide and arson in Williston last week.
That based on your past and present patterns of behavior, including that you have been to prison back in the 80s for lewd and serious assault upon a child, there's been a possession of a weapon by a convicted felon.
Well, the judge continues to list 58-year-old Robert Lled's criminal history during his first court appearance over video on Friday. Now, based on these past offenses, the judge ordered Lled remain without bond in the Levy County Jail.
This horrifying incident highlights the dangers of domestic violence and the catastrophic consequences that can arise from unresolved anger and abuse. It highlights the importance of recognizing the warning signs of toxic relationships, the need for early intervention and support, and the courage that individuals, like Netta, can show in the face of danger. Ultimately, it calls for greater awareness and action to prevent domestic violence, as well as the importance of protecting and supporting those in vulnerable situations. Rest in peace, Jenny.